Hello, and welcome to another episode of the formerly named but now unnamed podcast highlighting the voices in my head. My name is Blaine Shields, and I want to thank you for joining me today. Today I want to speak about something that weighs on a lot of us. I say this because I've seen it in the tension at the bus terminals, in the lines at the store checkouts, at airport gates, and so many other places. I also say this because I know I have problems with it often myself. Waiting. Regardless of what it is we're waiting for, we despise, we loathe, and dare I say it, we hate to wait. We also hate to gain weight, but that's a completely different weighty subject altogether. But I have yet to meet someone who likes to spend time waiting at the stoplight for it to change, or who loves to wait for their meal to be brought out to their table, or who revels in the prospect of waiting for the commercial break to end, or who is just giddy about waiting for someone to finish their thoughts. Or what about the guy who sits down next to you and just starts babbling about nothing and everything all at once and doesn't seem to take a breath, and just as you wish they would think they were done, they're not even done, they're continuing to go on, and you just wish they would finish what they're saying so you could exit the conversation post-haste. But most of us, if we're really truly being honest, we hate to wait. You know, next year, 2021, there are a lot of new movies that are going to be slated to come out. And hopefully, by that time, we'll be back to going to the theaters and living a somewhat normal life again at that point. But the waiting until that, it really weighs on people. And the waiting can lead to anxiety, and anxiety to anger and frustration, and the anger and frustration to speaking out words that we normally wouldn't use in heated hostility, or doing things that we wouldn't normally do because of an explosive, pent-up rage. And then the action leads to reaction. Regret. So what do we do about this? We have to learn to take the waiting in stride, to learn to breathe, relax, and realize that the anger and frustration won't truly fix anything, and that the reaction we take leads to the response of others, which can often become a spiraling vortex of hurtful words and actions that make no positive headway, but instead creates more hurt and more anger and more hate. We have to learn to take control of our response. And one thing that we should come to understand about waiting is that sometimes what we're waiting for is truly worth more than the wait itself. And sometimes the waiting is to spare us from something that we may have encountered before, or to put us in line to encounter something that we wouldn't have encountered otherwise. And sometimes still, the waiting is due to an outside force that is affecting someone else. Surprise, the world doesn't revolve solely around you or me, regardless of what we may think. A person in their car becomes frustrated because traffic is not moving. They are going to be late for their appointment. Their fuel is running low in their car. They have tons of other things they need to be doing today. Why is this happening to them? Meanwhile, 10 cars up, unseen. A driver has collapsed behind his wheel. It's a heart attack. His wife and his 2 small children are in the car with him, frantically crying out for help and trying to revive him. But again, 10 cars back, we're waiting and we're wailing. Why me? Perspectives can change things immensely. So learn to enjoy the wait, or at the very least, to not be bent out of place by it. Waiting often has its purpose for us. We just have to be open to what it's trying to teach us. Now that being said, I want to share with you a little story about waiting. A bloke heads down to a pet shop in order to search for an animal to give him some company, as he's oftentimes lonely at home. He didn't have many friends and he wanted a pet to give him purpose. The bloke walks into the pet shop and gets greeted by the cashier. "Good afternoon, sir. What can I help you with today?" "Well, I'm looking for a pet to keep me company," the bloke replies. "Well, I've got just the thing for you," says the cashier. He takes out from under the counter a little matchbox, and inside there's a talking caterpillar today that you can have for just £50. "What a bargain," the bloke replies. He hands him 50 quid and takes the matchbox home. When he arrives home, he can't wait to ask the caterpillar if he'd like to go do something with him. He puts the matchbox on the table and knocks on the top. And out comes this caterpillar. "All right, mate, you want to go down to the pub for a few pints?" says the bloke. The caterpillar looks up at him and goes back into the box. Half an hour later, the bloke tried again. He knocked on the matchbox, and out comes the caterpillar. "All right, mate, You want to go down to the pub for a few pints? Again, the caterpillar looks up at him and goes back into the box. Confused, the man wonders whether he should go get some sort of refund for this. An hour later, he comes to try it one more time. He knocks on the matchbox, and out comes this caterpillar. All right, mate, I'm going to try this one more time. One more time. Do you want to come down to the pub for a few pints? To which the caterpillar replied, Yeah, all right, mate, I heard you the first time. I've been putting on my freaking shoes this whole time. Waiting is part of life, and it's something that we need to learn to live with and to breathe through. Whether we're waiting for a car, or we're waiting for a meal, or we're waiting for the 100th pair of shoes on a caterpillar, we need to learn to wait, be patient, and above all, be kind to one another. You are loved. God bless.